Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, episode 268. Ocho Rios. The Ocho. You ever watch the Ocho, Chris? Spanish sports channel? Catch it on the Ocho.
Only when I'm watching dodgeball.
Yeah, they do. They have some fun sports on there. How the hell are you? Welcome. Here we are, another week.
I'm doing very, very good. How are you? Cheers.
Oh, great.
What are you drinking? You got some whiskey or bourbon?
I have bourbon whiskey, because remember, all bourbons are whiskeys, but not all whiskeys are bourbons.
That's right.
This is Nulu, N-U-L-U. And I thought it was kind of gimmicky when I saw this years ago. You know, I'm like, what the fuck is the name Nulu? And I actually don't know a whole lot about it, but I know I like it because I've had this. I've had this before. I have like 4 different bottles of it. And this is a small batch finished in toasted French oak staves.
Wow.
Take a guess on the proof. They're always a little high. I'll give you that.
I'm going to go 110.
114. Close.
Just a little under.
Aged 4 to 7 years. And it is damn good.
Right.
Really good.
Where's the distillery at?
Yeah, so I was just reading this. Unique history. A journey into the unique history of distilling liquor at PSC Distilling Company. ProhibitionCraftSpirits.com. PCS. So, I don't know. We need to do a little look into that. It says distilled by MGP, right, of Indiana.
Right.
So it's the barrels there. So Lawrence, Indiana.
Oh, Indiana.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, right on. Mm-hmm. That's cool. I think I might have had that
bottled in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow, all the East Coast, Midwest stuff. Not even is Kentucky East Coast, or is it Midwest, or is it between?
I think it's between.
All right,
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. But as long as you enjoy
I know where it is on the map, and I know they got some really good bourbon there.
That's right. Well,
what do you got?
I'm drinking some wine. I'm drinking a little wine. I believe it's a 2018 blend from Rodrigue Molyneux, which is a local winery
in Livermore.
In Livermore here, and it's drinking. I mean, really good. We were talking pre-show. You asked what I was drinking. I told you, and he's like, "Hey, it's like you said, they're back." And you're right, because for a period of time they were really good. And then they weren't so good.
No, there was, I was a member there for a while, and it was like hit and miss.
Yeah.
And the ones that were bad weren't like bad, but it was just like,
didn't fit the palate.
I wouldn't bought it. Let's put it that way. If I tasted it in the tasting room, I wouldn't have bought it. Like, but when that's one of the disadvantages being a wine club member. And not all wineries, they dump the slow moving stuff on their wine club members.
Yep. Oh yeah, no.
And you just don't get a choice, right? And then there's others that let you pick and choose. And then, like, if you do get a bottle that you don't like, you can bring it back and they'll exchange it for another bottle. So there's a lot of different ways. But this particular one, it was, But I'm glad to hear they're back.
Oh yeah, no, it's drinking well. This is a blend. I don't have the bottle in front of me. It's at the other end of the house. So, but it's good. Rodrigue Molyneux. If you're in the Livermore area, if you're a listener and you like
come
wine,
see Chris and go to Rodrigue Molyneux. Wasn't Ira was a member there too?
Yeah, Ira.
Because that was the last time you and I went there was with Ira and Lori.
That's correct. And they have a beautiful garden around.
They have
the
a great tasting area now. Yes,
it's wonderful. And I know that during Halloween they put on a pretty good show. So
really?
Cool. Oh yeah.
Wow.
The spooky shit going on is pretty cool.
Spooky shit. Okay,
went into a darkened room with the winemaker, and she did a quick talk, and she had like a boiling cauldron and shit.
What? Okay.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Oh wow,
totally great. So anyway, enough of that. So what else? Business. So we've got we don't have any reviews, and we want to just implore our listeners to if you haven't written a review, please go to iTunes or Spotify. Or is it called iTunes anymore, or is it called Apple Podcast? I don't know what they call it, but go to the Apple thing and do a 5-star review. And if you do that, then DM Jason on the gram at Wheeling Wine Whiskey, and he or I, if I have to do it, would be happy to send you a sticker. But write a review, and if you like the show, tell a friend, spread the word, man. We love to have feedback on the show. It's important to us.
Absolutely. And and we're not giving away a winch or anything, but we got a fair number of reviews for just organically giving out stickers.
That's right. That's right. So, and then I believe you said you had a voice message, huh?
I do.
Ready to play that?
Yeah. Let me get this teed up here. Okay. And go.
Hey, Jason, Chris, Kevin Poole here. Yeah, I was just listening to your guys' episode. You guys talk about your generators and your ACs on your Lances. Something you might want to look into, especially with heat, you can actually put a soft start on your AC, which will help reduce the amount of power it needs to start up at initial cranking, and it might help it out. I don't know the age of your guys' Lances, but on mine, I think mine was a 2003, 2004 I ended up having to install one of these because it would do the same thing. It was just too much of a load on a hot day. I think they're anywhere from like $100 to $230, and it's just a mechanism that'll take some of the load off, like peak power off of your AC when it tries to start. Anyway, good to know. You guys have a good one.
Right on, Kevin.
Good. Thanks. He's becoming a regular caller now. I like it.
Oh, and he's got great information too. It's valuable. And I will say that I do believe that my AC unit, probably the previous owner of my camper, installed a soft start on it.
Oh, really?
Because I had no issues firing that air conditioner off with the Honda when we were at Prairie City during the heat.
I know I've ran. Now my camper's 20 years old. It's a 2003 or 21 now, years old, but I know I've ran it off my Honda 2000, but I've got an old Honda 2000 with a shit ton of King of the Hammer hours on it with minimal oil changes. And, it's been ridden hard and put away wet. So I have to assume that it's probably not cranking out the full 2000.
Yeah, probably not.
And then with the aging, AC unit, but I don't use that much. But yeah, I do know about those soft starts. And if I think it's like a capacitor, so that's what kicks the compressor, because that's what takes the most root. That initial draw of starting up the compressor is what takes the juice, and that capacitor, the soft start, gives it that extra juice, gets it up and running, and then off you go. But even then, the 2000 is screaming, to keep that thing running, right?
Oh yeah, no, it was ripping at Prairie City. That's for sure. So, but I mean, it was considering the heat that we were out there, I was willing to sacrifice, listen to the generator revving so we could be cool in the camper while we recorded that show with Bailey Cole and Jack.
Yeah, exactly. It worked great. Your camper could have hung meat in there. So yeah, that's a good tip. All right, thanks for calling in, Kevin. Looking forward to your call this week. See what you say this week.
That's right. Speaking of AC compressors and capacitors, we've been having a pretty long heat wave here in California, and I was bragging or whatever with some friends. Another friend of ours had his AC go out, and we were all lamenting it. And good old Chuck up there in Redding. And fortunately, he was able to get his service man out there pretty quick to fix it, and it turned out to be the capacitor.
Right, we both said, capacitor.
Yep, exactly. And then the same thing happened to me last week.
Yourself.
I'm like, come home from work last Monday, and I'm sitting in the house, and it's hotter than hell. I mean, hotter than hell. It's like 102 outside.
Well, that's hot.
And it's 78 in the house, and then it was 79, and then it was 80. And I'm like, the AC is running. Why is it going in the wrong direction?
No. And
so I walked outside to check the condenser unit outdoors, and the fan was turning, but the compressor was not running.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh God. So I call, I have a guy, I've had a guy for years that I could call, and he's a friend. And I called him up, and he didn't answer his phone right away, but he called me back. He's like, hey, I've retired and left the area. So I'm
no way.
Can't help you out. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Good for you, but it sucks for me. So I was kind of thrown back into the pool of, find a new guy, a new service company or guy. And, I went to the old interwebs there, and I looked up actually went to Facebook, and there's a group in there, Livermore Rants and Raves, and I kind of did a search on there to see what names people had or what companies people had used for air conditioning service, and one name popped up, Arts Air Conditioning and Heating, and local company and family owned, and I gave them a ring, and they didn't come out that night, they didn't come out the next day, but they were able to come out the following day. And it was a capacitor, and $300 later, my AC's back up and running. So I was super happy in that regard. But, it's like we've been in this just continuous heat wave mode. And, I installed air conditioning in my house so I could use it. Yes. I'm not going to install it just because, hey, let's just put it in for fucks, shits and giggles.
No, for sure. And, it's been nice. This house in Nevada is so much better engineered and insulated than what I had in San Jose. It was like a sieve, man, out there. And when my AC was working, it couldn't keep up in anything over 100 degrees. And here I just came in the house from working on a camper, and house was 80 degrees. I had it open this morning, but it's been muggy the last couple days,
It's been weird.
Yeah, it just this thunderstorms have been rolling through and stuff, and it's just typical summer little storm rolling through. But it's sun's out now. It's clear. It's nice. It's like 80 outside, and we were 104. I saw as high as 109 here this past week. And I'm good. I'm good till 100, 102. I'm like, okay, anything beyond that, it's a little too hot, especially working outside. But, you and I have worked outside our careers, and, you get used to it. You adapt. I drink a shit ton of water.
Yeah, but the older we get, the less tolerant we are.
Yeah, stay covered up, but it sucks you out, right? On those hot days, you're just extra tired. It just wears you down. So, anyways, AC's on now. I can feel it on my feet as I'm recording this podcast. It's very nice.
Well, fortunately it's cooled off here, and I've got the house open and the windows are all open, and I got a little breeze going. It's really nice. So
yeah, things are supposed to throttle back here and be down into the mid high 90s, I guess. Mid in the 90s, but that's fine.
No, that's tolerable.
It's summer.
And if it's supposed to cool off, that's the beauty about the Bay Area. It cools. Generally it cools off at night. Yeah. So, I mean, I know this isn't the weather podcast.
No, but it just cracks me up. July and August and into September, people, oh my God, it's so hot. Well, guess what? It's like that every fucking year. And, then you're going to be bitching in January and February when it's fucking 4 degrees outside and there's snow on the ground. So, it's called seasons.
That's right.
And depending on where you live, they get more extreme, or they're, the Bay Area is pretty damn mellow. That, best weather on earth by far in the greater Bay Area there where you guys are.
Oh yeah. No. And I know that during that heat wave, people were flocking to the coast because it was in the 70s and in some cases 60s. But, they were talking about like Highway 17, which goes from San Jose to Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Was like fucking gridlock,
all the time. Well, it's, 30, 40 degrees cooler over there. And they get, when it gets hot in San Jose, it sucks the fog in. Yep. So natural air conditioning comes in. I have family that lives over there, and they're just, oh my God, it's cold here. And I'm like, yeah, well, come up here to Minden. It's freaking 114.
Right. So, right. Anyway, we've got obviously off-roading to talk about.
So let's talk off-roading, because you actually got to go off-roading yesterday. Hang on. Where's the applause? Do you have the soundboard?
I do.
Where's Lorenzo is clapping his hooves too. There it is. Nice. You shocked me because you said, no, I'm staying home. I'm done. I'm hot. I'm tired. And then next thing I know, I get a picture of you and Rodney out at our adopted trail.
That's right.
Esprit de Fort's adopted trail, Granite Bandit's adopted trail down on Highway 4 that we didn't get to finish 4 or 5 weeks ago because of snow and just numerous trees down.
You did like 100 trees or something, didn't you?
Yep. And so what? Let's hear it. The floor is yours. I'm going to sit here and drink.
Well, that's something you can do. Yeah,
I'm good at it.
You are. You have a PhD in drinking.
Professional.
So yeah, anyway, yeah, you're right. I was planning on just staying home because, like you said, I'd been working all week and it had been hotter than hell, and the energy had been sucked out of me. But Rodney and I have been going back and forth, whether phone calls or text messages, and I told him on Friday when I was driving home, I said, I don't know, man, I'm fried. I've insomnia. I haven't been sleeping well, and I just need to lay down for a bit and just rest. So I got home and I actually I thought I took a nap, but I actually never fell asleep. But I finally got back up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just I didn't need to pack much. I just needed to throw a few things into the camper, which was already on the
Camper
truck.
was already loaded. Yeah.
Had water in the tank. So it was just throw a few clothing items and throw a little bit of bourbon in the camper and my CPAP machine and some recording equipment just in case we got a bug for it. And headed up. I left. I was wheels up, I don't know, just before 6 p.m. on Friday, which unfortunately that's like high commute time.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up spending quite a bit of time sitting on 580 going over the Altamont.
But the nice thing is once you get past the Altamont, you're good because it would take me an hour and a half just to get to the Altamont sometimes.
Right. Well,
if I left during
grade sucks. So.
Yeah. So you would always have an hour and a half jump on me. Even leaving in traffic. So
yep.
Go ahead. I'm not discounting your traffic, but it sucks.
No. Got through and finally got on 99. And then once I was on 88, it was a piece of cake and basically headed to Rodney's place. I arrived at his place just after 8 p.m. and he has a spot where he parks his RV that was a vacant level. So I just
He's
pulled
got
into
a nice
that
place up there.
Yeah, 5 acres and just pulled into his spot and it was almost instantly level. I just let the air out of the bags and dropped the jacks and slid the slide out. And then, we went downtown. So there's more to it, but it was hot. Driving through the valley was 104, and I'm like, okay, cool. And it was still hot.
AC.
AC in the truck. But once I got to Jackson, I was like hoping it would cool off a little bit. Nope, it was hot. It was almost 100.
Wow.
But it was cool is he had an extension cord, and I was able to plug the camper in, so I was able to run the AC in the camper once I was set up at his house, which was awesome. So then,
did you see his vegetable garden?
No, I didn't look at his vegetable
He
garden.
uses all the coffee grounds from all his lattes he makes on the trail and throughout all his numerous latte operations. Gets compost into his vegetable garden.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so his vegetables have a little, coffee taste to them, but it's very nice. Did he make you a nice latte in the morning?
I had coffee he almost coffee in bed on Saturday morning. He was knocking on my door on the camper at like 6 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
And I opened the door up and there he is holding a hot cup of coffee for me. I was super
Didn't disappoint.
Cool. Nope, not at all. Great host.
Did you get to swim in his pool?
No, we didn't have time for that.
You should have pissed in his pool just to say that you did.
So, yeah, and we got there. Anyway, after I got all set up and whatnot, situated, and the AC was running in the camper, we jumped in his Mach-E, his Mustang Mach-E EV thing to go down to Sutter Creek for dinner. His wife's car. That's the first time I've ever been in an EV. So.
That's crazy. You told me that. That's wild. Yeah. You rode, didn't you ride in EVE?
No.
You didn't?
Nope, never rode an EV.
At Hammers? No?
And
Kyle didn't give you a ride?
No ride in the EV.
Okay.
No ride in Evolve Racing's rig or this Test 10. Nope.
Wow.
Anyway, so it was cool. I mean, he did a couple of launches on that thing, and holy crap, that's a neck snapper. It's like, holy moly. They're no joke. I mean, they're certainly a niche thing, or not a niche, but if it fits your lifestyle, it's a great vehicle to have. But blasted down to Sutter Creek to try to have dinner, but we got there at 8:45, almost 9 o'clock to grab a bite to eat, and they literally roll up the sidewalks in Sutter Creek. It's like there was nothing.
It is such a cool town, but it's even here. I mean, and we're a lot bigger than Sutter Creek, but you try to get something to eat after 8 o'clock, you got to go to the casinos because everything else is shut down Shoney's, man.
So we ended up going to McDonald's, and it was funny. I mean, that's where it's like
there's some such good restaurants there.
I know.
With that Mexican restaurant we just hit that just opened up when I rolled through there. It was coming back from Adopt a Trail 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Is it an alley?
I stopped by. Yeah, it was down a couple streets off the main strip.
Yeah, we tried to go there and it was closed.
Dude, it was so good. So good. Yeah. Anyways,
D9. So we ended up at McDonald's, and that was actually a pretty good McDonald's. They had table
fries.
service.
Table service?
Yeah, they delivered
table dancers. What?
They delivered your food to your table like a waiter. It was pretty interesting.
Did you order from a person, or did you have to go to a kiosk?
I ordered from a person. They had the kiosk, but they had a person too. So
yeah, they got the kiosk thing. I can't tell you the last time I ate at McDonald's. I think it was like last October on the way to Trail Hero or something.
It was last Friday for me. So.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Anyway, so yeah, then we got back to his place, had a nightcap, and then I went to bed because we had an early morning on Saturday to go wheeling. So Saturday morning, woke up. And so the nightcap, we had Old Elk. We both partook in an Old Elk cocktail.
Great.
So,
my Old Elk supply is going low, and I know they listen. They got to get this going here. We got to make a phone call to them. But I saw. Did I say this on the last podcast, or when I went to go buy some Old Elk? One, I couldn't find just regular Old Elk. They had all this cigar cut and port finish and all that stuff at Total Wine & More. And I finally found one, but it was $65
for a regular
Old Elk, and it used to be $45 to $50, right?
Yep.
You'd see it for $45 or $49.99. Now it's $65. I don't know if that's like agency pricing across the board or what. Got to check into that, but it is worth it at that price for sure.
Oh yeah.
But everything's going up.
Yeah,
everything's going up.
Still a great drink. So yeah, I had the nightcap of Old Elk, and then we hit the hay and.
Wait, were you at his indoor bar?
Yeah, at his indoor bar
with the bowling pin lamp.
Yep.
Isn't that cool? I like that.
We had all that stuff. Yep. Anyway, after that, hit the hay and woke up in the morning and had we just threw some stuff into the latte machine. And hit the road. We stopped at Rayleigh's on the way out of town to pick up some lunch materials and Gatorades and so forth, Sandos and different snacks and whatnot. And then I got the cooler packed with ice and headed out. Drove down Highway 49 to Highway 4. Made the turn up to, and then we were supposed to meet up at the campground, Black Springs Campground, at 8:30 with the rest of the group to rally and head out to hit trails. So we actually arrived right on time. So got out of the truck, took a quick bio break, and then loaded back up and headed up to the county line, up towards the Bear Valley side, so we could do the hard side of the trail.
Okay, good. So you came in the upper end of Corral Hollow, yeah.
That's correct. So we turned off there into that little staging area, and everybody.
Did you meet anybody there, or?
No, there was 6 rigs. Kelly was trail lead, and then
right.
John Ruiz, and there was a total of 6 rigs.
Shane
was there. Yep, he was ready to rock and roll. And we had some friends of the club were there. We had some club members and some perspectives and some newbies. And of all of us that were there, I was the only one wearing a club shirt. So.
Oh, interesting.
But that's cool, But anyway, we aired down. And
it used to be required back in the day, but things have changed a lot since the early years of Esprit de Fort. Go on.
A little bit. Anyway, we headed up. We're Rodney and I was right seating in Rodney's latte machine, the white.
Isn't that comfortable? You had the AC going, didn't you?
Oh hell yeah! Windows rolled up, AC going. It was hot. But it was comfortable, and we were tail gunner. We ended up being tail gunner. We had radio comms, so we kept in communication with Kelly. So we started heading up the trail, and then not too terribly far into the trail, Kelly had trouble. He broke down.
Oh no!
Yeah,
his rig's pretty solid. He did a lot of work to it.
Oh no, and
Scrambler.
He also knows how to wrench on it too. So
he does. He built his own axles and everything. Yeah,
absolutely. So anyway, his alternator went out, so he wasn't charging.
Oh.
So we John took over lead and we continued up the trail. Kelly's like, keep on going, guys, and I'll figure this out. And if I can fix it, I'll catch up with you. If not, I'm gonna have to head back to camp and swap this thing out. I guess he ended up having to run down to Angel's Camp to get a new alternator. So.
Okay, well at least that's a pretty straightforward fix,
Oh yeah, for sure. So, so we headed up the trail, and that downhill side, if you're coming from the top of Bear Valley down towards the what do you call it, the east side of the trail, the east entrance, if you will, I consider that well, it's not me, just it's the harder side of the trail. It's more technical. There's a lot more rock crawling on that. We didn't, I mean, so obviously I don't think you guys cleared that part of the trail a month ago.
Nope.
So it's clear. We didn't have to pull a saw. We didn't have to get out of the vehicles.
Did you see any
all.
trees that were freshly cut or moved?
Yeah, there had been some work. I saw some sawdust.
Somebody went through there. Okay.
So yes, there were some prepared people that went through the trail, but there was no bypasses. It was, the trail was clean and clear. We didn't see a lick of snow. You saw the pictures we took up at the top of the vista up there. But yeah, we blasted through the trail. I think we hit trail at like 9:15. And we were done at the cattle guard down at the other end of the beginning of the other end of the trail on 7909 by noon, which we stopped there and had lunch at the cattle guard.
Okay, perfect.
And then we kind of had a short discussion there, and I think by 12:30 we were back on the trail. We headed up and did the Ridge Trail. We drove up the ridge towards Hunter's Camp.
Hunter's Camp, yes.
And we saw nothing in the trail. The trail was totally clear. Did you guys make it to Hunter's Camp or no? You
made it. I was the only one that diverted off. I sent everybody ahead, and I said, well, I want to go check Hunter's Camp because at the cattle guard coming from our normal way to Hunter's Camp there's that cattle guard there, and there was like 5 feet of snow there.
Oh yeah.
So I blasted over that and then got into Hunter's Camp. There was a tree there that we yanked out of the way because you couldn't get to Hunter's Camp itself because there was a big tree. Yanked that out of the way. And then, clearly it was all snowed in with 4 or 5 feet of snow on that trail.
Yeah, no, snow's gone.
Yeah. Warm temperatures helped that out.
Oh yeah. And the trail was dry too. A lot of dust. I mean, it wasn't just melted. It was dry.
Yeah, we were muddy.
So,
wet.
Cleared the trail. There was a little bit of debris in front of the top of the trail right by Hunter's Camp where the Y is,
Mm-hmm.
And then we knocked that stuff out and then started driving down the trail where the switchbacks are. And it was easy going, got down to the bottom where it starts to flatten out. And we're chugging along like, man, this is a piece of cake. And yeah, famous last words, right? So then we finally get to a point where we finally had to stop and cut trees.
Okay.
All said and done, we ended up removing 9 trees on that last section, probably the last mile and a half of the trail.
9.
Not a lot, but it was 9 trees, and there were plenty of hands to do the work and plenty of saws to do the work. So it was actually easy, and they weren't huge, thankfully. But we knocked them all out of the way, and the trail is now open. Didn't see any snow. The mosquitoes didn't seem too bad.
Oh, good. I was going to ask you.
And then, we finished that. We made that. You get to the bottom of that trail, and you have to make that gnarly off-camber left-hand turn to get onto the not a major road, but the road that leads back to 7N09. And I guess it's been a while since I've been on those trails because we spent a lot of time from the end of the actual trail to that access fire road to get back to 7N09. That was a long slog.
It's a long haul. Yep. It's miles.
Yeah, I'm like I don't
5
remember.
or something miles.
I was talking to Rodney and said, I don't remember it being this long.
No,
but
it is.
So we get back to we'll finally get to the end of that, make that left turn, and start heading up the hill towards where our typical lunch spot is, that intersection between the 2 trails.
Yep.
That area, we didn't stop there. We just blew through it because we basically, it's 3:00 at that point. We're everybody's done. So we headed back to. Our goal was to head back to Black Springs Campground so we could rally.
That's where everybody was camped?
That's where everybody was camped. That's a nice campground. That's the first time I've been there since
they've improved it.
Yeah, it looks good.
3 years ago? I want to say
2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. I guess they got 2 vault toilets and stuff there, and they got plenty of. It's a big area. It's bigger than it was in the old way.
And what's cool, just going to interject real quick. We worked closely with the Forest Service up there, maintaining the main trail over 30 years, and I know Corral Hollow over 20 years, but it was cool. They asked for our input. They're like, okay, because it was always just an open area, and there was no designated camp spots, and they weren't real level or anything, but it worked. It was nice. So they asked for our input, and a lot of us said, hey, look, make it wide enough and long enough for 2 trucks and trailers.
That's right.
Because people are going to be towing in, and that was when the side-by-side thing was kind of coming on board. And I go, you got everybody's towing. And whether it's towing a camper or towing a trailer for their toy, whatever, you need to get, wide enough and long enough for 2 trucks and trailers to pull it. And they did that. And they're level, and then there's some that are not so level, but they did okay.
Yeah, I didn't walk.
It's all graveled.
I didn't walk the whole campsite, but I felt like it was open. It was inviting. It was definitely a lot of space to spread out
Fire
and not
pits,
be on top of
picnic
each
tables,
other. It was good.
Bear boxes.
That's right. All the cool stuff, and I guess they charge $15 a night. Per site. Bad. Which is reasonable, and it's, I guess they have garbage. There were garbage cans. They collected garbage. There was a garbage can in the shitter. That
wow, I didn't know that.
When it was in the morning when I went in there, it was the garbage can was full, and when I went in there out in the afternoon, the garbage can was empty.
Oh, great!
I just to back up a little bit, riding with Rodney in the latte machine. Last year he did a lot of work. Anthony did a lot of work. Yes, control arms and shocks and steering and knuckles and all sorts of stuff. And I will tell you that rig, it really drives nice. It rides nice. It's comfortable. He can pop along at a pretty good clip, and with 37s on that thing, he can bomb the trail pretty well. And he's a good driver, and I got some videos of us bopping along. It's pretty funny. I'll maybe post on the IG. But at the end of the day, when we were heading back after we got, we passed by Horse Gulch, and that's clear. It's open. There's no trees down in it anymore.
Yeah, that's our original campground. Yep.
We drove through it, and it was wide open. Nobody was there. It was empty. For a holiday, not a holiday weekend, but a weekend for nobody to be in Horse Gulch kind of surprised me a little bit.
Okay.
We saw very, very few people on the trails. We saw a couple of mountain bikers. We saw some motorcyclists. There was a group of side-by-siders that we ran into at not Hunter's Camp, but at the Bear Trap Cabin. And then we
which
said
needs a lot of work.
Oh my God! Yeah, the outhouse is done. It's
somebody
collapsing.
Needs to adopt that, and I don't know what that process is because that's Forest Service, but it needs a lot of help.
Yeah, the roof is. It looks like it's leaning a little bit.
No, it's definitely leaning.
Yeah, but I will say the outhouse is done. It needs.
It's been done. It's been done for years.
Yeah. It's collapsing. So, but when we got back we passed Horse Gulch and we're on the last little segment. Rodney's like, I want to take Bailey Ridge back to Black Springs and that trail, that connecting trail. And we were going. We peeled off. I called on the radio and told everybody in the group ahead of us that we weren't going to follow everybody. We weren't going to air up at the end of the road there and follow them down Highway 4. We were going to take Bailey Ridge. And okay, so we started that climb up Bailey Ridge and we were going up at that zigzag or switchback area that's technical. We were going up it, and this motorcycles were coming down. We almost had a hit. The first guy coming around the corner, he was surprised, and he kind of wadded up. He
peeled off,
laid it down, and kind of tumbled over. And we're like, "Oh shit!"
So that's a good point because these are all multi-use trails. Most of our trails here, in the Sierras and California and stuff, there is multi-use, and that could be, a father and his kids on dirt bikes, could be side by sides going way too fast, could be Jeeps just cruising along, bopping along, as you say.
Yep.
It could be horseback,
people
on horseback. There could be people walking out there too, or mountain biking. I was going to say there's a lot of mountain bikers up there in that area of Arnold and stuff, Murphy's. Those trails up there that we do. So it's always in the back of my mind. And luckily, I've never been in a close, call, but I have come up on people or people have come up on me way too fast around a blind corner.
Yep.
And when you're the lead dog, you got to keep that in mind, that, hey, there's other people out here and it's not a one-way trail. Most of these trails are all two-way. And yes, they are single lane and spots and stuff, but
yep.
you got if you're in the lead you got to be extra cautious and just anticipate somebody coming around that corner and think about that, because it gets gnarly. And then little trail etiquette is like when you're coming up on a group, or even if it's just one rider or whatever they're on, is let them know how many people are in your group.
Hand
and you hold
signals
up
are
your
good.
fingers.
Yep.
So if it's more than 5, you're like, you put your hand back and forth and say, okay, we got more than 5. And they're like, okay. And then everybody's supposed to, as they pass, whoever stopped, the group that they passed is, okay, we're down to 4, we're down to 3, we got 2. Okay, I'm the last guy, and that's important, especially in the summer when it's dusty and stuff, and to let people know that, hey, that's the end of our group. But that doesn't mean the trail's clear and there's nobody behind us, right behind us. But anyways, things to reiterate. Part of tread lightly and be cautious of your fellow off-road, mountain enthusiast out there. Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's important. That's a good tip, and thanks for mentioning all that. That's good stuff. So anyway, we got onto the top of that Bailey Ridge, and he just let loose with that rig, and we were probably at that flat section up near the top where it's kind of wide open. He just bombed it, dude. I was holding on for dear life, but the rig was, absorbing everything just great, and handling it felt good. He felt like he was in total control of the vehicle the whole time, and we covered some ground pretty quick up on the top.
That's
there.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and then we started the descent back down to Black Springs Road, or whatever they call that road there, and there was a giant. I don't know what happened, but there's a giant boulder in the middle of the trail. We had to kind of
on the main road.
No, at the very end
of Bailey Ridge.
Very end of Bailey Ridge.
Oh, really?
Big ass boulder. Thousands of pounds. It's like,
I wasn't there when I went through.
We had to squeeze by it.
Oh wow, interesting.
And then
gatekeeper.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got down to the pavement, and there was a good old Bessie down there with her cowbell just standing in the middle of the road.
Oh yeah, the cows are up there too. That's the other thing. You got to think about wildlife. Up here you come around a corner and there could be horses. We got wild horses here in Nevada, but you got cows too out on these. They let them free range in some of these areas.
Yep.
Hence the cattle guards. And so you just gotta keep your head on a swivel out there.
Exactly. And on another note, on the Mattley Meadow Trail, it looks like they've been doing a ton of work out there. They've got these man-made retention ponds or something that they've cut, and they've got shitload of barbed wire now paralleling the trail.
No, I didn't see that. Yeah, no, interesting.
A lot. It's all fresh installation of barbed wire,
keeping people out of the meadow.
Yeah, well, yeah, the meadow. But again, there's some excavator, bulldozer, something work on. There's some bunch of man-made holding ponds or something going on there. And I was going to ask Sherry and Oli if they know anything about that. If they've
interesting,
because I know they were going to be doing some reroutes, or there was talk of reroutes in that area. And I think that that may be happening soon, because there's a lot of shit's going on up there. Is what I'm saying.
Interesting. Okay.
So, but yeah, it was good to get out on trail. Obviously I wasn't driving. I was a right seat. But we got back to Black Springs to rally with the rest of the group. And the plan was to, hang out for a bit, and then we're going to run down to the lube room for dinner.
Oh, did you go to the lube room?
No, we did not.
Oh,
so it turns out we heard about Magnus, a member of the club was, woke up ill in the morning on Saturday morning, as he had a bad night. And they took him to the hospital down in Angels Camp. And when we arrived at Black Springs that afternoon, Magnus had just gotten back from the hospital, and he was in a lot of pain and unable to drive. So they were asking people if they could get some help. Somebody could drive his vehicle down to where cell coverage was, so he could call for a tow truck, because he was not in any condition to drive all the way back to San Mateo. So I volunteered to drive him down to Arnold, so I got to drive Shrek.
Oh yeah, his Jeep.
Yep. And so I drove him down to Arnold, and another club member followed. The guy that drove him to the hospital followed us down so he could be with him. But yeah, even during the short drive down to Arnold, I could see that Magnus was in a lot of pain.
Oh no!
To the point where he just would be just dangerous driving if he had a major cramp or whatever you want to
what's
call
up?
it.
Do they know what's going on?
It sounds like stones, kidney stones.
Ooh.
So I'm wishing the best for Magnus, and hopefully they pass quick and he can move on with.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
That can be pretty freaking painful. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
that's no bueno.
I did get to drive somebody else's Jeep for a little bit. It was all on pavement, but
Didn't lock the lockers or anything.
No. But you also mentioned how you had thunderstorms and whatnot down in Minden. It got pretty spicy up in the mountains for a bit.
I
there
bet.
Black clouds, and we had they were talking about dry lightning, but it wasn't dry at all. We had a pretty good downpour for a bit there.
Good.
But it was muggy, humid, warm, lightning, thunder, and rain for a bit there, which kind of didn't happen on trail, which would have been nice to knock the dust down. But anyway, like I said, it was good. I got to see the trail, got to do some physical labor, which is always fun to do our bit to keep the trails open and community service, if you will. And we always encourage our listeners and fellow off-roaders to do their bit and volunteer and help keep your favorite trails open with a little bit of sweat equity, if you will.
Yeah, and I'm glad, so glad Kelly took the reins and got a second group together, because we just couldn't finish, and we put out a lot of resources and people and time there. So it's great to hear that those trails are wide open now and clear, and good for next year here, the following till winter,
Right.
But that's great. Good. Well, good job. There we go.
Yep. Thank you. And then, we dropped off Magnus and Arnold there, and then I jumped back in the latte machine. We raced down to Murphy's and decided to have dinner in Murphy's because we missed out on the lube room.
Sure.
Did a quick Google search once we had internet and found a place in down. Man, I tell you what, I have never explored Murphy's. I've just been a kind of a pass through.
It's cool.
And we went to Main Street to this place called Firewood, I believe it was called. It was just a kind of almost a cafeteria style casual dining place.
Cafeteria style.
Well, no, it was casual dining, but it's what do they call it? Fast casual. You stand in a line where you go up to an ordering counter with the big menu boards, and then they give you a number and you sit down at a table and they bring your food to you. But they have pizza, wood-fired pizza, real wood-fired.
Okay,
oven.
So it's good food. It's not cafeteria.
No, it's good food. They have pizza, burgers, and
it's just you don't
tacos.
sit down at a table with a menu and order. You're going up, ordering, sitting down with a number. Freaking buzzer, and then here comes your food. Okay,
exactly. So we both of us ended up getting tacos, and came with rice and beans. And we wanted tacos the night before, but we were denied in Sutter Creek.
Oh, so those were good freaking tacos, man.
We got our tacos.
Good freaking tacos.
But Murphy's, man, downtown at 6 p.m. or whatever is busy on a Saturday. I guess it's like a super popular place.
All the people that were wine tasting during the day, and it's become I don't want to go Napa-esque, but it is a destination for wine tasting, and the restaurants have adapted to the upscaleness, if you will, quality of food and everything, to cater to these people that are coming in and going wine tasting for the day, and then come into their restaurant and want a nice, doesn't need to be a 5-course freaking, Michelin star chef meal, but they're looking for quality food.
Yeah, no. It was parking was definitely a challenge, but we found a spot because we had a Jeep and
you just drive over. You just park on top of a Prius or something.
Pretty much, yeah.
A Tesla.
Yeah. 2 Priuses. We were straddling
Perfect.
So anyway, found the restaurant, had a good dinner. We were in and out pretty quick, and then back in the AC because it was hot. And then motored back to Jackson where Rodney lives, and
going to Jackson
helped him unpack the Jeep a little bit. You put things away, and then I took a shower, and then we had a cocktail and watched the news because what was going on in the news? A little bit of bit of real life. But no, keep it brief.
I know. So I was in Virginia City. I had guests coming in this weekend that had been planned for 9-10 months. So that's why I didn't make it to Adopt Trail number 2.
Part deux.
And anyways, so they wanted to go to Virginia City, and I was just there a couple of weeks ago with James and Rhonda. Samurai James, Samurai Rhonda Samurai. What they got to change
Lady
their name.
Samurai.
They're buggy. Lady Samurai. Thank you. And so, I go, yeah, let's go. It's a cool freaking town, man. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you're just bar hopping, and there's these tchotchke stores, shops, and there's some cool stuff. There's a nice boot and cowboy, store there. There's some cool artwork stuff, and but then there's just a lot of stores that just have. There's a couple cool candy stores, ice cream.
Did you see any of the Cartwrights?
I did not see any of the Cartwrights, but it was crazy. So we went in there, and we're doing our tour and hit Red Dog Saloon, and we had already eaten lunch, or late breakfast. But Red Dog, if you go to Virginia City, go have the pizza. I've heard it's killer. I had a bite of it, but I have not had a normal sit down. Let's enjoy a pizza there. But it was good, and they're known for their pizza there. But anyways, we're going through town, and this happened at 6:15 or something yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We're recording on Sunday. And the word spread fast. We're in Trump country up there, 100%. I mean, the number of people packing guns in Virginia City is, and now you got your, people dressed up like cowboys, and they do a little shooting deal with blanks and demonstration and stuff.
Well, it's a tourist trap.
It is a touristy area. It's an old, mining town. And it is cool. It is rich in history, mining history. But silver was their main commodity that they were pulling out of there. There you go. The more you know. But it is cool. You're driving through this canyon to get up there from Carson City.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get there from Reno. Not as scenic, but pretty good. And anyways, we're in town there, and the word spread, I mean, within minutes of it happening. And we're like, crap. And we were in the Bucket of Blood, which is like a world famous saloon. A lot of motorcycle. Hell's Angels were there a couple weeks ago when we were there. It's just a cool freaking bar. And so we were in there, and it wasn't super busy, but they had a TV, big screen TV up in the corner, and we're like, holy shit, assassination attempt on, former President Trump. And it was crazy. So a lot of conversation. The sheriffs in town came in to the Bucket of Blood to watch the TV because, obviously it went across their airwaves. And so we're talking to them. And of course, there was a lot of opinions flying around of who did it and what's going on, and conspiracy theorists and all kinds of stuff. But all my takeaway is, it's come to a head, man. This country, the ship needs to right itself.
Oh yeah.
And this is not good. But as I texted my friends, I said, Trump just won the election.
Well,
certified badass. I put it up on our page. I couldn't help myself, but I hope this stuff the ship rights itself.
Well, let's see what happens. But I certainly don't believe that people should be, there should be, in political situations, there should be a right to safe campaigning and political campaigning, and to be shot at, while you're out there on the campaign trail. That's shooting. That's not right. It's just messed up.
What an extreme, huh?
Yeah, pretty.
I mean, to kill somebody. It's we're going to kill our competition. And it was a 20-year-old kid that did it.
It was a 20-year-old kid, but the reality, Trump's bloody, but somebody did die. Two people. The shooter died, and a bystander died.
Yes, because the people standing behind him, and I'm like, holy crap! That was immediately what we said at that bar. I go, look at all the people behind him. I said somebody had to take the bullet, or hopefully not, but. It was inevitable and senseless, just totally senseless. And, we'll see. I don't know if we'll ever know the real story and all that, but my God, people, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I don't care. Again, I said it before: Democrat, Republican, Green Party, whatever your deal is. But and we don't know what the motive was behind it. But clearly, you can't ignore the driving facts that they want Trump gone.
Yeah, right. Somebody does.
Somebody does. Clearly.
So anyway,
but the memes that are coming out of it are priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, immediately, I'm like, oh my God, I'm on my phone on Instagram to see the memes coming up, and people are just waiting for shit like this. I don't know. And they're very creative. There was a lot of imposed heads of Trump on 50 Cent. 50 Cent got shot at and stuff. And he goes, "You can't kill me yet, mother scratchers." So, yeah, there was some good memes. And then of course, Hillary Clinton going, "What do you mean he missed?"
Oh,
so it's like, okay. Anyways,
and moving on.
We're moving on, but I think everybody knows where we stand. And God bless America. And I'm glad he did not succumb to a bullet in the freaking head.
Condolences to the family that lost a loved one.
Exactly. That. And he was a
retired fireman or something.
A fireman, I believe. Yeah. Yeah,
family man,
Corey?
had wife and kids. Yeah, he's 50 years old, so about our, just a little younger than us.
Just out there supporting, doing,
minding his own business.
Minding his own business at a Trump rally, supporting his choice of president, and gets fucking shot by this random asshole. So,
yep.
Yeah, the world's fucked up, dude.
Condolences.
Once again, got to enjoy it while you can.
Whoop.
Because you never freaking know.
You never freaking
never know.
So you also had some other exciting. You had some more fun in Virginia City. Do you want to relate some of that stuff, or because I mean you I guess somebody took over as a bartender or something.
Well, okay, yeah. So Virginia City is cool, and it's a bar shop, and so you're just rolling down the street. And wooden sidewalks. I mean, it's not ADA compliant by any mean. I mean, this mountain
ADA wasn't. They didn't have no ADA back in the 1800s.
This is a mountain town that was built on a hillside, and it's just cool. It's just history. It's just we got a ton of it. Here in Nevada, California, Nevada City, Grass Valley, all that. I mean, just the mining that has happened, and the amount of gold in California, silver up here that they found, and some gold. We went into the Ponderosa, and I didn't go in there with James and Rhonda. We just walked by it, and I'm like, oh, they got a mine tour. And there wasn't many people in the bar, so we could sit at the bar. So I had a Jack and Coke, and we're just BSing. They go, oh, at 3:30, there's a mine tour. And I'm like, let's sign up for the mine tour. I like mines. Yeah. And it was a legit, it was one of the original mines there. And it just was 50 feet underground, but it went 300 feet. Or 100 yards into the mountain. Uh-huh. But it was a good, tour. The lady was hilarious that gave the tour, and we had fun with her. And she goes, normally it's a half an hour tour, but with you guys being as rowdy as you are, this is going to be a 45-minute tour. And it was. But there was some great history there, and just you're walking through actual mine, tunnel where these miners went in and harvested all this silver. So that was actually super cool. And it was just one of those things that you just kind of stumbled upon. There's a vault in there, not in the mine, but in the bar itself, because it was the old California Bank. It's in Nevada, but it was called the California Bank. And so you actually got, they had some displays and stuff in this vault, but you got to walk into this vault. So just some super cool history. The Silver Queen, another cool place. We had a drink there. And they have, I'm going to screw this up, but I want to say 3,164 silver dollars. And there's some from it was built in the Silver Queen. So it's this wall that they drew this lady, and then her whole dress and everything is all silver dollars embedded in it. And it represents, I'm going to butcher this up, but it represents how many Ounces they got out of this mine, I don't know, but it was 3,000 something. But there, you start looking at the silver dollars, and they're real silver dollars on this wall, and I mean, there's some from 1922, and it's crazy. And this was done in the 50s. I want to say 58. So, anyways, Silver Queen's cool. It's a haunted hotel. It's been on all these, ghost stories and stuff, and I definitely recommend, if anybody's looking for something to do one weekend and they're like, well, we've been, Disneyland, all this other shit, go to Virginia City and spend a night. There's several cool old hotels to stay in, and there's plenty of activity, food, drink, and sightseeing. Killer old church, and the views from up there, unbelievable, looking down this valley. So then the Delta's got the suicide table, which was like this card table, and every owner that owned this table committed suicide because they lost so much money on it. And it's a crazy story, but they call it the suicide table. And I mean, back in the day, people were winning like $89,000.
What?
Off this, yeah. And I mean, what is that in today's
to like $1 billion now?
Right. It's like Elon Musk money or something. I don't know, but again, the history and that bar. And I will say this because I talked to a lot of locals a couple weeks ago and again yesterday, and they all said, please go support the Delta because it's under new ownership and they're trying to bring it back. It was once, a great place, and they do weddings there and they have banquet halls and stuff. And the new owners are trying to bring it back. It got run down, but it is cool. It's a great open bar. They got shuffleboard. They had a great singer there the last couple of times I was there. So that's cool. And then the Tahoe House. If you want to be a little bougie, go to the Tahoe House. Super nice place. You walk into this antique store down below. You go up the stairs and they got a small bar with like 5-6 bar stools. Okay. And then they got a balcony where you can sit out and look out on the street. And in the afternoon, it's shaded from the orientation there. And man, they make a killer old fashioned there. And they use the big rock and everything. So I peeked in a couple of the rooms, and that would be a cool place to stay.
If you're up on the balcony, can you throw beads at women or?
No, it's not New Orleans, Chris. It's not New Orleans. Sorry. But I guess you could start that trend there. Maybe you could be a trendsetter.
Hey, Lorenzo, let's meet. Let's do this.
So the Ponderosa was the mine tour. Oh, so then we ended up at Bucket of Blood. And so Bucket of Blood's, like I say, the famous bar. They got a stage. Great bands play there all the time. Big, huge, long bar, storied history. They got slot machines, I mean, it's place of fun. Okay. And I got to meet the owner, Marshall.
Oh, cool.
And so it's been in the family for years. Marshall's running it now. Super cool guy. So it was fun hanging out with him. Yeah, but one of our guests, Crystal, she was we walk into this place and I go, hey, we're just gonna come in here. I said, I'm not drinking, I'm driving. And I had literally 2 drinks the whole time I was there. And walk into the Bucket of Blood, and immediately just the vibe and everything, I go, we're gonna be here a few hours. And we were, and then the Trump thing happened and everything. Right. But yeah, before I knew it, Crystal was behind the bar pouring tequila shots for people. That's just the way she is. And the bartender was having fun with her. The owner, so she was pretty annihilated at this point. And the owner, she's like hugging on the owner, and they're talking and stuff. And he goes to the bartender. The owner goes to the bartender and says, I need 2 Luanas, something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was like a name. But like kind of not your common everyday name. Luana. I need 2 Luanas. And the bartender knew it was code. And so the bartender poured up these 2 shots, and they take the shots, they cheers, Crystal and the owner, Marshall, and down it. And the owner leans over and whispers in my ear, that's iced tea. There was no alcohol. It was
good.
just an iced tea shot. And so I go, okay, well, of course, she's like, oh, that was good. What is it? What is it? What is it? He goes, I can't say. Trade secret. But anyway, it's just funny, right? I mean, this isn't his first rodeo with dealing with drunk people in his car.
Right.
But as a sober person, it was, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a long deal. And it sucks to be the sober person because you just want to be in the mix partying. But then the other part of me is like, you know what, Jason? You're going to feel totally fine when you get home and not all like, I'm ready for dinner and I got to cook dinner and stuff. But so there was benefits of it. But man, everybody was having a good time. We were the bouncer, everybody. We were just all in the mix. And then all of a sudden, the bar literally had like, I don't know, 60 some odd people in it.
Uh-huh.
The band finished, left, and then it was like close to dinner time. And dude, it was us and like 3 other people in the bar. I'm like, where did everybody go? It just cleared out. Like you talked about. Streets like roll up. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, holy smokes. But we stayed there another, 45 minutes or so and then finally made it home. But anyways, definitely go check out Virginia City and check out the history. And if you come from Carson, you're going to pass the Bunny Ranch where they have all these cool, fluffy tailed bunnies, white-tailed bunnies that run around and you can pet them and stuff.
You can certainly.
That's what I've been told.
For a price, you can pet them.
Oh, you got to pay? I get them for free at my house here.
Right. Years ago, I haven't been to Virginia City in years, but I did a drive-through when I had my blue Jeep Wrangler, which was never modified. It was always bone stock. I drove from my mom's cabin up in Tahoe down to. I just wanted to go for a drive. And I knew there might be some trails or wheeling outside of Carson or Virginia City. So I drove to Virginia City, went through the town, drove, then, I don't know, halfway through, there's a right turn to go across the tracks or whatever. And if there's, I don't remember there are tracks or not, but went down this hill a little bit onto a kind of a deserted road for maybe a mile. And they get into this area where all these mines are. And I started just driving on all these roads heading up to different mines, all the tailings and whatnot. So even a just short trip out of town towards the east of Virginia City, there's all sorts of stuff to see. Obviously, be careful around the mines because you fall in and get hurt. But there's lots of stuff to explore out there. Pretty cool. It is cool.
And then I will say, earlier in the week, I connected with Eric Wicks, our old friend Eric Wicks of the podcast here. Mm-hmm. And, last time we interviewed him, he said he was building a new car.
That's right.
And so that is being built at Get Bent Fab there with Keith. And anyways, I was over in Tahoe Donner visiting with my family that was up, and he lives right around the corner. So I go, hey, are you home? And he goes, no, I'm actually headed to Carson City your way. And I go, well, I'm headed back home too. So we ended up connecting up, and his wheels were ready from Chris at Battleborn Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So Battleborn wheels is, they're fairly new, but they're building some cool shit, and they do a lot of one-off stuff too. And Eric needed a special wheel for this car to fit the caliper, independent front suspension, portals, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And the package, it was like, and he wanted to support local businesses.
Okay.
And Battleborn is a small, upcoming business, and in this big wheel market. And he goes, hey, you want to come to Battleborn and pick up the wheels? I go, hell yeah. And I met Chris, the owner, at King of the Hammers and a couple other events. And he's got a badass Jesse Haynes buggy. Uh-huh. And so went over there, and then we go in the door, and there's Mike Saul, who does all the media stuff, right? He's got I don't know if you follow his page and been on Instagram much, but he's always filming some cool shit. He's the one that's produced a lot of the cool footage of Randy blasting through the desert and stuff.
Okay.
And so it was good to see him, and we go out to the shop, and Sean's out there on the CNC, 3-axis, mill, production machine, and aluminum chips are just flying out of these blanks that they have, these wheels that they get in, and super cool to see. And it's like I say, if you're thinking about wheels, and they will build you anything, that you go to their website on I believe it's just straight up Battleborn wheels. Lorenzo, get the frick up and do something for you. Oh, all right, there you go. There, now he's getting up. He'll take care of you. It's just this, cool operation, and we definitely want to get them on the podcast because he's got a story to tell. So yeah, it's battlebornwheels.com.
That's right.
So check
All
that
one
out.
word. Mm-hmm.
We're going to give them a shout out here, and we'll have to have Chris and Sean and Saul on the podcast here soon, because you're going to be coming up to this area, and I think that'd be a good one to sit down with them and talk about that.
Yeah, we need to up our interview game again.
Yeah. Let's make this happen. Other than that, that was kind of my last week's events here. We got Sierra Trek coming up. When are the dates for Sierra Trek? Second week of August?
8th, 9th, and 10th, I believe.
8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. That's correct. So it starts on a Thursday. You can go to cal4wheel.com or .org and sign up. I think it's a couple $100 if you do the full package, trail, meals, everything. But you get your money's worth. You don't have to bring any food.
No, you don't. They have breakfast. Well, you should bring lunch.
You don't have to bring lunch because you can go have some killer burgers and chili dogs and stuff from the little what do they call that? Yeah, the snack bar. Thank you.
But if you're on
nachos,
trail, you're not going to be getting to the snack bar. So, but I mean, that's the only thing.
If you're on the trail, you're right.
There's plenty of food. Yeah, breakfast and dinner is provided. Every day. I think it starts on Thursday night dinner, Friday night, or Friday morning breakfast, Friday morning or Friday afternoon or whatever. Dinner on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and breakfast on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Correct.
Is included. Then you have the snack bar. You got the bar. You got there's gonna be live music, I believe. I don't know.
Friday and Saturday night.
Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
It's hopping, man. There's gonna be vendor row. There's gonna be all sorts of displays up there. I believe they have that car show where you can vote on your favorite stock and modified off-road rigs. It's super cool. There's gonna be tons of people up there. I mean, they build a city, and there are hot showers if you need a hot shower. It's a campfire main camp, which is just awesome every night. So yeah, definitely you get your money's worth, like Jason just said.
It is, and you're in a great venue, and so highly recommend it. They got all kinds of different runs. Thursday all day, all the way through the trail. Friday all the way through the trail. They got a Friday river run. They got a Saturday river run that goes from camp down to River Crossing 3 and back up, which we call committee.
That's correct.
Which is like the main hardest part of the trail, if you will.
3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yep. 3, 4, 5. And don't forget 3.5.
3.5.
So
right.
It's super cool. And we've talked about it before, but just if you're thinking about, or you're kind of on the fence, go do it. You will not be disappointed. Even if you just go up and camp and hang out. It is a ton of fun, and they got all kinds of camp activities. They got cornhole tournament going on,
stuff for the kids.
Kids raffle. You will not be disappointed if you just go out and hang out at camp. And
if you have an RC car, they've got an RC track.
They do.
On.
They got that killer little track that we played on.
I'm going to bring my RC car. That's
now that you got one, there you go.
So, and then I saw on the IG that they did some work on the road, Meadow Lake Road.
Yes,
that smoothed out the area by the spring. So that's always been an area of anxiety for me, and that's going to be nice.
Well, you just go slow through there, but it is rutted up, potholed because of the springs there, the water moving through. But they smoothed it all out, and it's a 10-mile dirt road getting back to camp. So it is a haul, but they get semi trucks back in there with food trailers. So if you have a big a semi truck, well, whatever. Some people have toter homes,
fifth wheel trailer,
all that fifth wheels, nice motor homes. Of course, cab over campers, all that stuff. Tag trailers, crawler haulers. Everybody goes in there with everything. So obviously, if you're just cruising in your rig and a little lightweight trailer, you can go pretty quick to camp. It takes us about an hour in our operation with a truck, cab over camper, trailer, and a whatever your rig is on the trailer. You just go slow and cruise into camp, but it's a beautiful drive. You're cutting through this beautiful countryside there, tree lined.
I always love when you're
views
up by the spring and you look to your left and you see Fordyce Lake down
upper and lower Fordyce.
It's beautiful.
And you look down, and that's when you just, I mean, seriously, you turn down your radio, your Metallica or whatever you're listening to on the drive-in, and you,
Megadeth.
If you roll down your windows, your driver and passenger side window, you can hear the angels sing when you look out over that scenic field. So. But yeah. And then you before you know it, you're at Meadow Lake, and hopefully you're there for a few days and get to enjoy the whole thing. And there's a ton of mining history there. You look up Summit City, and that used to be a booming mining town. We've talked about it before on the podcast, but anyways, check it out if you're looking for something to do. August 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th.
Yep,
make it happen, Captain.
It's going to be a fun time, man. Jason and I are both going to be there. It's going to be a great event. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're going to be walking around. No booth this year. We're just going to walk around, hand out stickers, shake babies, kiss hands.
That's right. Perfect.
Yeah. I beat you to it.
Nice. Right on. Well, hopefully we'll see all you people up there at Meadow Lake at Sierra Trek. And I know summer's still rocking and rolling, man. There's going to be lots of off-roading.
Thick of things here.
What's that?
I said we're right in the thick of things of our four-wheeling season, and August 1st, hopefully Barrett Lake will be open. So
that's right.
That would be awesome, and that's just a hop, skip, and a jump from where I am. So I'll be heading back out there as soon as that trail gets open. But looking forward to Fordyce and Sierra Trek too. So
cool.
All right. Mentioning that, I'll just quickly. I know we're getting past the hour mark here. But I do have some work to do on the buggy. I'm getting rid of it's an LS motor, right? So I'm getting rid of the stock fuel filter regulator that was on there. It worked fine for years, but I had that fuel line blow. So now I'm like, okay, let me just update this fuel system. So I ran up to Summit, nice little 45-minute drive from my house now, and picked up a fuel pressure regulator, fuel filter, and some fittings. So I'm going to get that all dialed in. And then I also had a oil cooler. I want to get my transmission cooler updated here because it was just this cheese dick, O'Reilly slap onto your radiator with some zip ties and some tubing. And I'm like, this, I just don't like doing that. Your radiator is a heat sink already, right? Because the engine's hot and then it gets your transmission hot, blah, blah, blah. So I got a lot of room in the front of the buggy where there's zero heat. It's all fresh air up there. So I'm putting a remote cooler with a fan. I got the lines to run back that I'm going to make and tie into the transmission and remove those cheese dick transmission coolers that were on there. They served their purpose. They were fine, but the hoses are starting to leak. It's just, it needs some maintenance. So I'm like, whenever I do maintenance, if I can improve something, I'm going to improve it. So that's where we're at.
Good.
So that's on the docket. And then, I'm heading down to see Dirtbag Johnny tomorrow.
Oh, good. What's up with Dirtbag Johnny?
Escondido. Wow. So, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. What's the brewery that he's by down there?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. It's like blew up over the years. See, I don't even drink beer much anymore, but it's a big brewery. I'm going to look it up right now. Escondido Brewery. Gosh, what is...
I don't know.
It's coming up. Stone. He lives right next to Stone Brewery.
Oh, okay.
So we might have to go there. And even though I'm not drinking much beer, but they do have a good restaurant and stuff. That place they just kept adding on every time I go down there and visit them. And it's been years since I've been down there. So, Stone Brewery's big. It's like worldwide now.
Oh, good.
I'm going to pick up some pizza oven from him because he's moving. And
definitely
he says,
moving.
Come get it. And I go, okay. Yeah, he's not moving down the street or to Nevada or anything like that. He's moving out of the country. So, so he's got to be out in September. And I said, all right, well, I got some time right now being fun employed. I'll run down there and grab the pizza oven and visit with you guys. And and then come on back. So get to bomb down to Southern California tomorrow.
Yeah. What's he doing with his truck?
It's coming up here in September for my dad's car run.
Okay.
That we're doing the Memorial Car Run, and he's going to drive it up here and leave it here.
Oh.
Because he doesn't want to really bring it to the country that he's going to.
No. So he's in
I don't know if
in
it's
Minden.
public knowledge, so I won't say.
No.
Not that people are looking for, but
we don't know.
Not my story to tell.
That's right.
But it is a foreign country, and it would require shipping container and all kinds of crazy stuff, which can be done. But I'm like, dude, just drive the truck up here. So the story is, Johnny and I grew up next door to each other. My dad and his dad were machinists and worked together and stuff, and were into street rods, hot rods and stuff. And so they both were fabricators and built cars. Well, Johnny's dad, Ron, bought an old Model A truck, 29 Model A truck, and completely bone stock, knowing that they were going to turn it into street rod. So what's a street rod? Street rod is an old carcass, the old body, but everything else is upgraded. You put disc brakes on it. You put a nice V8 in it, automatic transmission. A lot of them have air conditioning, so you modernize the car, but it looks old. But yet you go cruise down the freeway at 90 miles an hour in Mexico and be in total comfort and, independent suspension, all this crazy stuff that people do. But it looks like an old car from the outside.
Right.
So anyways, long story short, Johnny's dad passed away and they weren't done building the truck. So my dad helped finish that truck. And so kind of special to Johnny and I. And so Johnny's like, what do I do with the truck? I'm like, dude, drive it up here for the run and leave it here and we'll figure it out. So I've got room for it and I've got other places to put it if I need to, or other vehicles. So so that's where the pickup will end up.
Good. Well, that's good. That popped into my head a while back. Like, what's he doing with that thing? So
it's a cool truck.
Right on. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So cool. Yeah. All right. You got you got anything else you want to talk about?
It's just that I'm doing camper repair. So if anybody needs their camper repaired, bring it on up here to Minden and I'll work on it.
Perfect. There you go.
For a reasonable fee. That's my new gig right now.
You can contact Jason at wheelingwinewhiskey.com or DM on the Instagram.
There you go.
Wheeling Wine Whiskey, and you can hopefully maybe get him to do some work on your junk.
Yeah.
So that's how you get a hold of Jason, or you can get a hold of him by email or IG. That way you can get a hold of me, Chris at wheelingwinewhiskey.com. Don't forget about the voicemail line. You can call and leave a message and we'll play it on the air. That's 408-800-5169. Again, that's 408-800-5169. Leave a voice message and it'll most likely get played. And then
most likely it will get played.
Don't forget about our website, wheelingwinewhiskey.com, where you can see all of our past episodes and links to discounts that we have affiliations with from people that like the show and we like their products. You can also see links to our merch, which is we just mentioned Dirtbag Johnny handles all that stuff for us. And what else, Jason? What am I forgetting?
Okay, I do have one homework assignment for everybody out there that wants to participate. I'd love to do. I know we did an episode before on like trail food, like trail prepping food and easing and stuff. And I'm not talking PB&J. I want like a decent meal, and like what's your like go to for like when you're spending a night or two on the trail?
Mhm.
Then you're not living the Lance life with a base camp with a full kitchen and all that stuff. So I'd love to get some input. So call in, email us, whatever, and let us know what your favorite trail meal is.
Yeah.
And it could be lunch, it could be dinner, it could be a breakfast sandwich, whatever. But I'd love to compile a list because I know I have my favorites, and you do too. And
Yep.
and you're trying to simplify things and minimal utensils, and you know, when you're doing trail wheeling out of a Jeep or a buggy, you have minimal space to bring the stuff you want to bring. And I'd love to hear thoughts from everybody on that. So
Yeah, for sure.
let us know, and we'll do
Okay.
an episode on it. We'll share your recipe or your ideas for trail chow.
Trail chow. I like a trail chow.
Speaking of, a rabbit just ran by. Got some rabbit stew going.
Hassenpfeffer.
Hassenpfeffer. I love Hassenpfeffer. And with that,
We're out.